The Tragic Fate of SpongeBob. 20 years ago, no one could have imagined it would end up like this, yet here we are. While the creators continue to drain every last dollar from the project, they have lost sight of what made this iconic cartoon truly special. Toys, merch, and spin-off products bring in enormous profits, but to keep that machine running, they need as much promotion as they can get. And the simplest way? Keep pumping out new seasons, even if compared to the classics, they're painfully hard to watch. The story of the world's most famous kids character started in 1999. Steven Hillenburg is widely seen as its true creator, and honestly, it was because of him that the show worked so well. Once he left and later passed away, everything started going downhill. Back then, Hillenburg and his team were still relatively inexperienced, yet in the late 90s they took a bold risk with the project. They were not afraid to experiment, push boundaries, or create strange and unconventional storylines. So in 1999, the very first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants aired on Nickelodeon, and despite its novelty, it was an instant success. The entire story takes place in Bikini Bottom, a fictional world underwater that many of us have wished we could visit. SpongeBob is a sea sponge and the main character of this universe. How exactly he ended up in this town is never explained, but he and the characters around him would go on to make the show a cult classic. Patrick, his best friend, is a simple guy, a bit slow, naive, lazy, but kind and loyal, constantly trying to drop some kind of deep thought. I'm sure everyone has a Patrick in their life. Squidward may seem unpleasant at first glance, but he's actually a sensitive and vulnerable character. A pessimist who's grown disillusioned with life, who can't stand Patrick or SpongeBob himself. As for the main character, he's a simple guy, overflowing with energy and enthusiasm. He learns about life through his own experiences, making mistakes, stumbling, and figuring things out. It's remarkable how the team led by Hillenburg managed to make a cartoon with fictional characters feel so real. And the thing that makes him truly special is that he connects with both kids and grown-ups. Not sure if they were joking, but the creators have said that the 7 main characters actually represent the 7 deadly sins. SpongeBob broke records. It became one of the most popular animated shows in TV history and the longest-running series in Nickelodeon's history. Why? Because the early seasons were absolute masterpieces. Take the 5th episode of Season 1, Pizza Delivery. SpongeBob and Squidward get a simple pizza order, but it quickly turns into a full-blown adventure when they end up stranded in a desert. The episode perfectly shows 2 totally different approaches to work. Squidward complains and just wants to quit, while SpongeBob keeps his spirits up no matter what. And then when the customer refuses the pizza and is outright rude to SpongeBob, Squidward actually takes SpongeBob's side, the same guy he'd been nagging the whole time. And that's how, in just a single episode, kids and grown-ups as well get hit with several lessons. They saw why it's important to do your work properly, why you shouldn't give up in tough situations, and that even the coldest people can show kindness and support others. Or how about Season 1, Episode 17? SpongeBob gets on the wrong bus and ends up in Rock Bottom, a dark, creepy place where he feels scared and totally out of place. He even cries, which is something you rarely see in the first season. Every time he tried to return to Bikini Bottom, he missed the bus by just a second, but by staying calm and finding someone who helped him, he eventually made it home. Crazy to think how many morals and memorable stories a viewer gets in 10 minutes or so. Even when it feels like the whole world is against you, don't give up. Don't panic when you find yourself in a difficult situation. Stay calm while working through the problem. Stories like these can even help prepare kids for school, where they will run into all kinds of challenges. Naturally, this story should have wrapped up in 2004 with the release of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. When it hit theaters, Hillenburg, the show's creator, stepped down as a showrunner, and that's when Nickelodeon decided to keep cranking out more episodes. Over time, something millions of viewers noticed, the show lost its soul. Episodes became forgettable, plots turned boring and morally empty. SpongeBob, once a character audiences could relate to, became just loud and generic, and things were about to get even worse. In 2018, Steven Hillenburg passed away. Soon after, the world saw spin-offs of the show, and those were worse than anything released previously, and clearly made just for profit. Tons of fans online felt like Nickelodeon's executives purposely waited for that moment to release them. It's an enormous lack of respect to the creator of a true masterpiece. But seeing how much money SpongeBob still brings in, it's not surprising Nickelodeon chose this path. In 2010 alone, merchandise sales featuring SpongeBob generated a whopping $780 million. Forbes estimated that over 25 years, the network made $16 billion off SpongeBob. He was literally squeezed dry, like a sponge. How ironic is that? Now it's no longer about meaningful stories, jokes, or even tears. It's all about money and even scandals. Thankfully, Mr. Hillenburg isn't here to see any of this. The people behind one of the spin-offs, the Patrick Star Show, even say that they don't really care about the canon, meaning the original series. But let's be honest, where would they be without the original story? And the controversies didn't stop there. The show began to be politicized. For instance, after the episode SpongeBob You're Fired, the creators were accused of taking a jab at government social programs as if they were making a statement on the issue. In Kazakhstan, there were talks of banning the show, claiming it promotes bad behavior. Politicians argued that SpongeBob acts badly, annoys people, and gets away with it, and apparently that's supposed to be funny. In Russia, things went even further. Just recently, a state TV channel straight up called SpongeBob a faggot. And once again, it's a good thing that Hillenburg isn't around to see or hear this. 25 years ago, Steven and his team didn't just launch a masterpiece that would become a classic. He made his own dream come true and put his soul into it. Every single detail of the show was planned. In the 80s, he was teaching marine biology at the Oceanography Institute, and even back then he was already drawing underwater characters and dreaming of becoming an animator. And he pulled it off. It wasn't luck, it was the story of his whole life. Every episode had soul and purpose. He drew every character himself. But the moment money came into play, Nickelodeon forgot all of that and turned SpongeBob into Money Bob, churning out seasons, movies, spin-offs, and endless merchandise, raking in billions. The channel has already lined up season 17 to premiere in 2026, and let's be real, expecting anything good from it would be silly. Not only SpongeBob, but Nickelodeon itself has been in decline in recent years. Once the most beloved kids channel, it's no longer what made people love it. If you want a detailed video about Nickelodeon's downfall, give this video a like or leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching and stick to good cartoons.